Hi. Yes, I have just returned from my university after a, microorganism practice lecture. Yes. Um, I'm. Well, I had to stand. I had to stand. I had to stand in front of my boarding house gate for a while because I lost my key. Yes. I put it on I put it into my pants pocket. But I but this time I didn't realize that but at this time I didn't realize that my pocket was like my pocket has a hole and so I lost it. I didn't realize when 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 it when it fell. I didn't realize when it fell, so I lost it. Now I have to rely on uh, whether my friends or my roommates or other people in my boarding house to enter my to enter to enter to enter. Uh, yes, luckily I don't have to wait for my to return. Um, there's there are a couple come there are a couple have 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 returned have just returned, so they opened the gate. Uh, so they opened the gate for me. um, anyway, let's get to practice English, right? Okay. I'm so hungry right now. I didn't. I haven't had breakfast yet. We we prefer live in a house or an apartment. Oh, this is a familiar one, I'll only answered this question once, so I feel a little bit confused now. Do you prefer live in a house or an apartment? Um, well, I prefer to live in an apartment. To live in an apartment, because there are many because um, there are many amenities surrounding. Because um, busy because I think it will be easier reach uh, to reach many amenities such as convenience stores, eateries, and um, eateries, gym, no, anything, gym. It will be easier to um, it, there will be many surrounding amenities. There will be many surrounding amenities. Neighborhood, neighborhood means have many amenities such as eateries, convenience stores, etc. Such as convenience stores and eateries. Um, Most convenient, convenient because it will be convenient. Okay, my have just rang me, ding dang rang. I don't know. Okay, let's 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 continue to answer this question. Well, I prefer to live in an apartment. Um, apartment. Um, this is because, relatively speaking, uh, relatively speaking, living in a living there living there is convenient. Um, living there is convenient. Well, relatively speaking, living there is convenient. Um, there are many. There are the neighborhood is surrounding by the neighborhood is surrounding by many amenities. The neighborhood surrounding by many amenities such as convenience stores and eateries, such as convenience stores and eateries, um, and eateries, uh, and eateries. Besides that, uh, living in an apartment will be cheaper. Be, um, However, buying an apartment is cheaper than a house. Moreover, buying a house is so expensive. So maybe in an apartment, it is dressed on some my personal, so it's also appropriate. It's also the most appropriate for me. It's moreover, buying a house then I in a competitive in the well moreover buying a house in Vietnam is buying a house in Vietnam buying a house in Vietnam is not easy. It is not only expensive and moreover the policy is so strict so strict and complicated. So also strict and the policy is the policy is also very strict and complicated. So it's very complicated. So buying so living in an apartment is the most appropriate at least yes at least appropriate for me. Okay. Um do you do you prefer living in a house or an apartment? Um well, I prefer to live in an apartment. Well, to be honest, I prefer to live in an apartment. Well, relatively speaking, living there is living there is convenient. The neighborhood is surrounded by many amenities, so it is easier to reach many amenities such as eateries and convenience stores. Moreover, buying buying a house in Vietnam is not easy. It's not only expensive, but also the policy is very complicated. So therefore, living in an apartment, living in an apartment is the most appropriate for me. It's the most appropriate for me. So I think living in an apartment is the most as is the most um, reachable. Is the most is reachable and appropriate. Is reachable and appropriate. Okay. To be honest, I prefer to live in an apartment. Well, relatively speaking, living there is convenient. Mm, It would be, I think, it would be easier to reach many amenities such as convenience stores and eateries. Eateries, um, so eateries. Moreover, buying a house in Vietnam is not easy. It's not only expensive, also the policy is very complicated. Therefore, therefore, uh, therefore, in my in my personal view, living in an apartment is reachable. Is is the most is reachable and is reachable and is reachable and appropriate and is reachable and appropriate. Okay. uh, do you prefer live in a house or an apartment? To be honest, I prefer to live in an apartment. Well, relatively speaking, living there is convenient. I think it will be easier to reach many amenities, such as the convenience stores than eateries. Moreover, buying a house in Vietnam is not easy. It's not only expensive, but also the policy is very complicated. Therefore, in my personal view, living in an apartment is is reachable and appropriate. Is reachable and appropriate. Okay, again, to be honest, live. To be honest, I prefer to live in an apartment. Well, relatively speaking, living there is convenient. I think it would be easier to reach many amenities such as convenience stores than eateries. Moreover, buying a house in Vietnam is not easy. It's not only expensive, but also the policy not only is not only the price is not only the price is expensive, but also the policy is very complicated. Therefore, in my personal view, living in an apartment, living in living in a living in an apartment is reachable and appropriate. But to be honest, I prefer to live in an apartment. While relatively speaking, living there is convenient. I think it will be easier to reach many amenities such as convenience stores than eateries. Moreover, buying a house in Vietnam is not easy. Not only the price is expensive, but also the policy is very complicated. Therefore, therefore, in my personal view, living in an apartment is reachable and appropriate. Okay, let's try another question. Maybe this one is new. I'm connected to the phone now. Do you prefer watching movies at home or do you prefer watching movies at home or in the cinema? Yes, it's new. I prefer to watch films at home. Well, to be honest, I prefer to watch film at home. I'm I'm a susceptible. I'm a I'm a susceptible person. So while watching films, I usually wanna shout out or uh, I often want to shout out or even cry or even cry so hard and or even cry so much and or even cry loudly or shout out or even cry loudly. Uh, so I so home the is the place that I can feel the most comfort. That that I can feel comfortable to rest this to to express this outlet to express this outlet to express this outlet. Outlet to express this outlet. Okay, just just a short. Um, do you prefer watching movies at home or in the cinema? To be honest, I prefer to watch movies at home. To watch movies at home. Well, I'm a susceptible patient, so while watching movies, I I often I often want to shout out or even cry loudly or even shout out or even cry loudly. Um, therefore, home loudly. Therefore, home is the most comfortable place so that I can express it. So a comfortable place like therefore a comfortable um, place like home, like my home is the most suitable one. Is the most suitable one to express these these outlets, these outlets to express my emotional outlets to for my emotional outlets. Okay. To be honest, I prefer to watch movies at home. Uh, well, I'm a susceptible patient, so while watching movies, I often want to shout out or even cry loudly. So, a comfortable place like my house is the most appropriate one to uh, the most appro- appropriate one for my emotional outlets. For my emotional outlets, emotional for my emotional outlets. Okay. Um, to be honest, I prefer watch. To be honest, I prefer to watch movies at home. Well, I'm a susceptible patient, so while watching movies, I often want to shout out or even cry loudly, uh, whereby whereby I think whereby I think whereby I think this is whereby I think I'm a susceptible patient. While watching movies, I often want to shout out or cry loudly. So a comfortable place like my home is the most appropriate one for my emotional outlets. To be honest, I prefer to watch movies at home. I'm a susceptible person. While watching movies, I often want to shout out or even cry loudly. Therefore, a comfortable place like my home is the most appropriate one to one for my emotional outlets. Okay, to be honest, I prefer I prefer to watch movies at home. While I'm a susceptible patient, while watching movies, I often want to shout out or even cry loudly. Therefore, a comfortable place like my home is the most appropriate one for my emotional outlets. Okay, let's do it again. To be honest, I prefer to watch movies at home. I'm a susceptible person. While watching movies, I often want to shout out or even cry loud. Therefore, a comfortable place like my home is the most appropriate one for my emotional outlets. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, see you again tomorrow. Bye bye.